Hey doing everyone, welcome back. Well, you've probably heard people saying that Kamala Harris is not well spoken and that she gives word salad answers to questions and that she hasn't given any details on policy or anything like that. Well, first of all, let me ask you this, right? If Donald Trump has concepts of a plan, what detailed policies is he offering? Okay? The only detailed policy he has is mass deportation and tariffs on everything. Oh yeah, and more tax cuts for rich people. But other than that, he has no detailed policy proposals. So, stop the double standard. What else? They say that, well, she gives word salad answers. Everybody gives word salad answers every now and then. I mean, I talk in word salads. You've probably seen it here before. I go off topic. I mean, I eventually try to bring myself back around. But everybody uses word salads at times. But when you have a guy who is asked about pick an issue, right? How are you going to bring manufacturing jobs back? Well, Detroit, and this is important to say because, Detroit, I'm telling you, and it's just like out in San Francisco where, she destroyed San Francisco and then all of California and then, she became the vice president. So why isn't she fixing now everything that she said that she's going to fix when she could do it right now? And Detroit, the whole country is going to become just like Detroit, and nobody wants that. And I'm not supposed to say this. I know I shouldn't say this. In fact, I would never say this. But Detroit is an awful city. But I would never say that. And a lot of people are saying that you have to talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, then nobody will know anything about it, and it's the worst it has ever been in the history of our entire country. Okay, I asked about bringing jobs back to Detroit, bringing auto manufacturing jobs back to Detroit. That's a typical Trumpian answer. I mean, obviously I just ad-libbed it, but tell me, what's the difference between what I said and what he said? The only difference is I don't sound like Donald Trump, and I'm not going to try to imitate him when I'm not good at impressions, right? So I'm not even going to make an attempt, right? So when I say something that he might say, doesn't it sound just absolutely ridiculous when it's not in his voice? And it sounds absolutely ridiculous in his voice, but it's just kind of built into the cake that, well, this is just his way of speaking. But double standards. If it weren't for double standards, I don't think Republicans would have any at all, would they? And I'm saying this, again, reminding you all that I'm a former Republican myself. Sure, we've got some out there that I still have respect for. Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger. And I know a lot of my viewers may not necessarily like George W. Bush. I respect the man, right? I have a lot of respect for him. But that's another issue for another time. Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is another one. I voted for Mitt Romney in 2012. And I don't regret that vote. If I had it to do over, I may or may not vote for him again. Knowing what I know now about Obama, I may have voted for Obama if I had it to do over again. But I don't regret voting for Romney. I really do. And we'd have been all right if he would have won. But yeah, I mean, don't come at me with these double standards where, she talks in word salads, and then the king of word salads makes no sense in anything he says, gets a pass. Don't come at me with, well, she has no specific plans when, well, she does, but, let's be honest. Let's be honest, right? If I am a candidate, and instead of just telling you a general overview of the policy ideas that I have, you know what? We're going to make healthcare more affordable, more accessible. We're going to make free school lunch a thing, right? We are not going to restrict your access to birth control or IVF because those are your choices to make. Okay? Now, how exactly am I going to implement that? Now, I could give you a point by point by point by point bullet plan, right? As far as making school lunches affordable, what we're going to do is we're going to move some money around. We're going to stop spending as much over here so that we can spend more over here. Plus, we're going to have to adjust our tax policy a little bit so that we're bringing a little bit more in here, while at the same time we're giving a break to the people who need it the most. And, if I gave you just exact specific details like that, you know what your response is going to be? Yeah, no joke. You're going to fall asleep. If I give you a general overview, and yeah, some specifics on how to make it happen, well, how are you going to pay for that? Well, we're going to make an adjustment as far as what gets spent where, and we are also going to adjust our tax policy. Okay. Now, is that overly specific? No, but it's specific enough. All right? So don't come at me with, well, she has no specifics and she speaks in word salads, while ignoring the guy who just rambles and says nothing. I mean, the guy literally at a 4th grade level uses 1,000 words to make no point. And as far as specificity, he has concepts of a plan. Okay, so he used that specifically for healthcare, but as far as healthcare, I mean, he was going to repeal and replace Obamacare and make it greater than it's ever been, and he had this great plan 8 years ago. Okay, so if he had a great plan then, how does he only have concepts of a plan now? Why didn't he implement his great plan when he had a chance? I mean, this is the guy who's telling you what he's going to do when he has already been president and we've already seen what he will do or what he's willing to do or what he's capable of doing. It's not good. Whereas Kamala Harris, as the vice president, does not have the authority that the president has. So why is she not implementing all these policies now? Because she's the vice president. Vice president. She doesn't have that authority. Can she influence policy? Yes. Can she implement it? No. So, just because, she's been in office, I mean, is she distancing herself from Biden? Yeah, a little bit, but she's also embracing his record. But she is not Joe Biden, so she's going to have differences with him, right? Just like you, right there. Yeah, you. Yeah. You and I, we've got differences of opinions. We might just overall agree on things, but we've got differences on some things, right? And if we don't, there's a problem with one of us. So, yeah, I mean, there's a reason that she hasn't implemented what she wants to do, and that's because she's the vice president. We've already seen what Donald Trump would do as actually being president. Is she overly specific? No, but she gives enough specificity that we can kind of get an idea without being bored. Trust me, unless you're an absolute policy wonk who likes to get down in the weeds of that kind of stuff, you will get bored and you're just going to blow it off. Like, all right, why do I need to know all this? I just need to know, what are you going to do? Yeah, that's all we need to know. What are you going to do? Not exact details on how. Whereas Trump, no plan, and you talk about word salads. I mean, his mouth is a word salad shooter. All right? So, if she's not overly specific, I'm not overly concerned. And, you know, I've seen some things out of her that I really like, and I'm still going to be voting for her. So, take it for what you will. Leave me a comment. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.